In this episode of Sasquatch Theory, I sit down with Hugh, a lifelong outdoorsman whose experiences in the deep wilderness of Washington and Oregon have reshaped his understanding of what truly lives in the forests of the Pacific Northwest. Hugh isn't someone who went looking for answers about Bigfoot or cryptids, his encounters found him. What began as years of hunting, hiking, and exploring remote terrain gradually turned into a series of events so intense and consistent that he could no longer dismiss them as coincidence or imagination. Hugh has spent much of his life in areas few people ever see, traveling far beyond marked trails into rugged country where nature still dominates completely. It was in one of these remote locations that he encountered something that immediately unsettled him, a deer carcass unlike anything he had ever seen before. The animal was mangled in a way that didn't align with known predators. There were no clean bite marks consistent with cougars or bears, no signs of scavenging that made sense. The force required to do this kind of damage suggested immense strength. Hugh remembers standing there in silence, feeling watched, realizing that whatever had done this might still be nearby. Not long after that discovery, Hugh experienced what would become one of the defining moments of his life. While overlooking a mountain valley that had been partially clear-cut, he noticed movement that didn't match the rhythm of any animal he recognized. What emerged was a towering, dark-furred figure walking calmly and deliberately through the open area. It wasn't rushed, it wasn't hiding, it moved with confidence, as if it knew it belonged there. The creature had long arms that hung far past its waist and long legs that carried it effortlessly across the terrain. Hugh describes an overwhelming presence, something primal and intelligent, that instantly told him he was witnessing something extraordinary. Rather than fear, Hugh felt awe. He was frozen, watching this being traverse the landscape in full view. The proportions were wrong for a human, and the movement was unlike a bear. There was no mistaking it. This was a Sasquatch. The encounter only lasted moments, but it permanently altered Hugh's understanding of the wilderness he thought he knew so well. As time went on, the experiences didn't stop. In another area deep within the forest, Hugh heard a roar that he says still haunts him to this day. It wasn't just loud, it was thunderous, echoing through an entire canyon and vibrating in his chest. The sound carried power, intelligence, and intent. It wasn't an animal cry born of fear or pain, it felt like a declaration. Hugh explains that no known creature in North America should be capable of producing a sound like that. The sheer volume and depth of the roar left no doubt that something massive was responsible. Beyond sightings and sounds, Hugh began noticing physical anomalies scattered throughout the wilderness. He found what he refers to as bone yards, collections of animal remains hidden deep in the forest, far from typical predator dens. The placement felt intentional, almost ritualistic. In other areas, he came across trees twisted and positioned in ways that defied natural explanations, including large trees uprooted and placed upside down. Pine cones from tree species not native to the region appeared in places they had no business being. These weren't random occurrences, they formed patterns, suggesting intelligence and purpose. Hugh emphasizes that these signs weren't isolated. They appeared across multiple locations in both Washington and Oregon, often in regions known for long-standing Bigfoot reports. The Pacific Northwest, with its dense forests, deep valleys, and vast stretches of uninhabited land, provides the perfect environment for something like Sasquatch to remain hidden. Hugh believes these creatures are highly intelligent, deeply connected to the land, and skilled at avoiding human detection. What stands out most in Hugh's account is his grounded demeanor. He isn't chasing fame or trying to convince skeptics through sensationalism. He simply shares what he has seen and experienced, knowing that the truth doesn't require embellishment. He understands skepticism, he once shared it, but after years of repeated encounters, physical evidence, and undeniable moments, he believes we are missing something crucial about our world. Hugh feels that humanity may be on the verge of uncovering one of North America's greatest mysteries. Whether Sasquatch is a relic of an ancient hominid species, something interdimensional, or a branch of evolution we've overlooked, he believes the evidence is mounting. The forest, he says, holds secrets far older than modern civilization, and not everything wants to be found. This conversation isn't just about Bigfoot sightings, it's about humility. It's about recognizing that despite our technology and maps, vast portions of this planet remain unexplored and misunderstood. Hugh's experience's challenge is to reconsider our assumptions about nature and our place within it. The wilderness isn't empty, it's alive, watchful, and possibly shared with something extraordinary. As this episode of Sasquatch Theory unfolds, listeners are invited to step into the shadows of the Pacific Northwest and listen closely. Sometimes the truth doesn't announce itself loudly. Sometimes it walks quietly through a mountain valley, leaving only questions behind, and the feeling that we are not alone.